The title of my research work says Risk Appetite of the Board of Directors and its Impact on Firm Value, Evidence from FTSE 100 Firms. My research explores how risk appetite of board of directors shape determines firm value using FTSE 100 firms as a case study. Board of directors are responsible for setting a firm's risk appetite, which in turn shapes strategic choices, investment decisions, and organizational behavior. Understanding whether a board's risk appetite improves or harms firms' value is very, very important, especially in highly regulated markets like the United Kingdom. FTSE 100 firms provides an ideal data set due to the due to the maturity of corporate governance structures. In recent years, regulators have emphasized the need for board of directors to articulate their risk appetite clearly. Financial scandals and corporate failures, such as the global financial crisis of 2008, have highlighted what happens when board of directors take excessive or insufficient risk. This research contributes to understanding how risk appetite interacts with firm value in a robust regulatory environment, such as the United Kingdom. Problem statement. Although risk appetite is widely discussed, empirical measurement is challenging, and studies in the FTSE 100 context remain limited. Existing literature provides inconsistent findings regarding whether higher risk appetite increases or decreases firm value, and this is the gap in which my research work seeks to address. Theoretical framework for the study are agency theory, which emphasizes that managers may take excessive risk unless monitored by the board of directors. The second theoretical framework is stewardship theory, which 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 explains or argues that directors act in the best interest of the firm, balancing risk and value creation. While the third theory is risk management theory, which highlights the roles of governance frameworks in shaping organizational risk attitudes. Previous studies show that board composition, such as board diversity, expertise, and independence affects risk appetite. Governance frameworks also influence how much risk the board of directors is willing to take, especially in the financial sector where risk oversight is regulated. Further research reveals conflicting findings. Some studies find that high risk appetite leads to higher firm value through innovation and competitive strategy, while others find negative effects due to potential financial losses. This inconsistency further justifies the need for further research in the FTSE 100 environment. Few studies focus specifically on the FTSE 100, and even fewer examine risk appetite as a board-level construct. Most studies also fail to examine multiple years of data, making it difficult to capture long-term effects on firm value. My research aim is the primary aim of this research is to evaluate the relationship between board level risk appetite and firm value among UK listed FTSE 100 companies. My research objectives is to identify determinants of board risk appetite. The second is to measure firm value using established financial metrics. The third is to examine the relationship between risk appetite and firm value. The fourth research objective is to analyze industry-specific differences within the FTSE 100 environment. These objectives allow to examine not only the link between risk appetite and firm value, but also the factors shaping risk appetite and the maturity and the relationships existing relationships that differs across industries. My research questions are: what factors influence risk appetite? The second is: how does risk appetite influence firm value? The third says: does the relationship between risk appetite and firm value, does it vary across industries? These research questions will guide the entire investigation and structure the empirical analysis. Conceptual frameworks are: board factors or board characteristics, how it links how it is being linked to risk appetite. That is, how board characteristics such as gender differences of board of directors, such as board size, such as board independence, how does it affect risk appetite? And risk appetite in turn, how does it influence firm value? We'll also be looking at the role of control variables such as firm size, leverage ratio, and industry, which will be included in this research work to ensure a robust analysis. My methodology overview: I'll be using quantitative research, secondary data, panel regression model, and quantitative research. The reason I'll be using quantitative research is that I'll be needing corporate governance code of conduct. We'll be translating qualitative governance code into quantitative numerical terms. I'll be translating qualitative corporate governance codes of obtainable from companies' corporate governance report. We'll be transforming it into measurable numerical data. Resultantly, it will be important for us to use quantitative research. Then, which is also secondary. Then we'll also be using secondary data for data collection. Then the data analysis model will be panel regression model. This study will adopt a quantitative approach using secondary data from annual reports and financial databases. Panel regression will be used to analyze cross-sectional and time series effects. Research design is descriptive and explanatory. A quantitative explanatory research design will be used. The study will employ archival secondary data extracted from annual reports and financial databases to examine the causal effect of board risk appetite on firm value. My data collection will be I'll be collecting data from exclusively public available secondary sources, such as then the procedures in which I'll be collecting this data is to identify the first is to identify 10 FTSE firms among the FTSE 100 firms meeting the sample criteria, including annual reports and corporate governance reports, company house filings, Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg. Second step is to download annual reports for 2019 from 2019 to 2023. Use keyword searches such as risk appetite, risk management, risk framework to locate risk disclosures. The other one is to apply coding manual to score each of the 7 red eye items. Then to extract financial and governance data manually. Also input all variables into the Excel template created. Also, I'll export data to SPSS for panel regression. The reason I chose this particular data collection sources, is because it provides reliable and audited corporate information, which is suitable for empirical research. Data analysis: we'll be using regression analysis. We'll be using correlation tests to understand the relationship that exists between risk appetite and firm value. And we'll be measuring firm value using Tobin scale model, using Tobin scale model. And we'll be using Tobin scale model because it's an acceptable financial metrics in the industry for measuring firm value. We'll also be using returns on assets to measure firm value because it's also industry accepted. Ethical considerations. Publicly available data, confidentiality, academic integrity is also important. Time schedule. Expected contribution. This research will contribute new evidence on how board level risk appetite influences firm value. It will help board, regulators, and investors make better governance decisions.